Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here today again for our practice. Fix my shirt. Kind of lopsided. I think I am. There we go. Is that better? Um, I'm Alex. We're here with Sun and Moon Yoga Studios in their portal. One of the venues we can share and our time together and practices. And we'll ground. We'll do a little movement, and we will get still. I've titled today's practice "Teaching What We Need to Learn," and I am over and over finding the need for that or discovering what it is I need to learn. So, again, thank you for being here with me. And I think that Nina was signed up. Maybe you're out there, Nina, right now. But I'm so happy for all who join in real time or later on, as I continually repeat, the song of the community is so vital, is so important to our practicing together, to sort of our learning together, to uh, providing support. Especially, we all have times, no matter how dedicated and committed we can be, that we slip or have doubts or have need help, and we are that for each other. So I'm actually going to do a standing practice. The mini movement is going to be a little bigger than it usually is. So we'll stand and we'll ground in standing today, and then we'll come down to sitting. You can choose to remain standing. You could also do this perhaps laying on your side or sitting in a chair if you like. You'll need room to move your arms. So a chair without arms, a non-arm chair would be helpful. So let's get going. And let's get going into a rather quiet practice, a slowing down. And that is the particular element that I'm finding that I need to remember these days, the slowing down. So, whatever position you choose to start in, perhaps it is seated, perhaps it is lying down, and it could be on your back for this first part. Perhaps it is with me standing. And just very lightly, I'm looking at my feet. Uh, you might notice how you placed your feet. Were they even to each other? Mine were feeling like they were not, but as I looked at them, they do seem even enough. And even if they're not even, you don't need to correct that necessarily. And let yourself sway a little bit forward, or mm, yeah, the movement can come from the golden ball, lower torso, lower part of our torso, lower abdomen, pelvis, and so that your weight goes back towards your heels a little more, and then forward to the balls of the feet, just slowly releasing, feeling ground, feeling ourselves in this field of gravity. Slow, slow, and let your shoulders relax, let your eyes relax. And then just pause with the weight a little more to the heels. And in this pause, noticing, noticing the two sides, noticing if already within these couple minutes in this movement and attention that something has shifted. Maybe the two sides feel different from each other in the shoulders and the hips and the feet and the legs. Maybe something else. And then begin to shift your weight, maybe again moving as if from this lower abdomen, left and right, just like a swaying now side to side. It can be a very small movement, and noticing how one side might feel like it gets longer and more solid, the other unweights, shortens perhaps. Notice the whole of yourself and this relationship to the ground, and that we occupy space, that we carve out, our body carves out this space in a sense. Nothing is lost to the space really. But if we were to have a container, an empty container the shape of our body, and then we poured in, we would realize so firmly, so plainly that there is this displaced air. And then again, come just to where you feel like center is, and before you adjust anything, just notice how you landed, what your attention goes to, what you notice. And this practice is of bringing our attention to right here, to full presence, only available right here. Well, I often question something as I speak it. I'll hopefully return to that later. Full presence is never not, well, I'll come to it now. Full presence is never not here. Our mind can be partitioned, but we can have an awareness of it, and I think still be a little drawn somewhere else, and then we can have no awareness of it and be oblivious to presence in our activities and thoughts and memories. All right, so make the adjustment of where you need to find. I'm going to bend my knees, just a micro bend in my knees, put a little more weight in my heels. As I did that, my shoulders relaxed down. Perhaps you find that when the support below is really set up well, my toes are not gripping; they're sort of a little bit apart, and a little more weight in the heels, and awareness in the arches, and awareness to breath. Just being here, just standing without holding on to something if that's possible, or if you're lying down or sitting. Similarly, just being aware of where the support is underneath, and a relaxed freedom above that. And begin to add listening, the element of sound. As I already mentioned, I think I mentioned breath and this idea of ground, how we find our particular mass of this body in relationship to the earth, body. Jaw might relax a little more, and listening for the sounds that are coming to you. Sometimes there's a kind of I notice on the recordings a kind of background hum that I believe is the air conditioning, the fan of the air conditioner. I'm noticing that. Mm. And just seeing what comes up, maybe what's drawing your attention, asking for your attention. And perhaps that becomes something that you sets your sights for this practice, something that might want to be attended to because it's asking for your attention. Or maybe it's something that you just hold now and say, I see you and I will attend to you, but not now, because for now I'm going to be attending to ground, sound, breath, and this practice of being. if it's something that you do want to attend to, perhaps form the question of what is my next step about this today? Or what is the healing path for this? How can I be more clear about this? What is it you want to tell me? Perhaps if it's an achy part of yourself. There's no wrong way to do this, but as clearly as you can state the question or inquiry, it gets helpful. The better phrased a question, the more um, clear the answer can be. More meet that. See what arises. So there is this, we're in relationship with, as much as part of this practice is to get to that boundless, formless, timeless presence and beingness that is our true self and is always here, it is also always in relationship with what is arising moment to moment from the past, from the projected future, imagined future, and from this present moment. Always being, always becoming. Now let's step. I'm turning to my left, so my left foot is forward and my right foot is back a little bit. Just a comfortable stance, and you might shift the weight again as we did now, but from now from front foot to back foot, and just shifting the weight slowly. Knees can bend, and just let all of you participate. And we'll begin by taking the arm that's associated with the back leg and begin to swing it like a pendulum. And the idea here is to enjoy yourself, to be curious and playful, and to let go, to sort of let there be as little effort as possible. And maybe the pendulum will just keep a low amplitude, or maybe it will swing more widely. You might follow your hand with your gaze. And you can't see in the video, but I'm coming up off my um, toes on the front foot, off the heel on the back foot. So let the ankles be free. And perhaps your swing goes into a whole big circle, but it doesn't have to. The whole big circle's not feeling it for me today. Maybe my shoulder's a bit more tight than when I've done this before, but the speed, the amplitude, not important. Enjoying yourself, feeling that all parts of you are enjoying the movement, even the arm on the other side that doesn't seem to be doing too much. Maybe it could participate in some way, or maybe not. It could just hang there. All right, and come back to standing. Don't repair. Don't fuss with it. Just stand more evenly out of the uneven stance. And now adjust the feet if you feel like you need to be more, or if you've been sitting, doing this from sitting or lying down. Oh, if you were lying down, you needed to roll to your side to do that. You probably figured that out. And sitting, you probably just came back to where you are at center, arms relaxed. Notice what's new, what's fresh. Just lightly, with as if your attention is a camera that can catch an infinite mm, directions. You're not limited to zoom, or even the panoramic view has no bounds. So the edges, the peripheral vision's soft, but it's a sensing, not just a seeing. It's a sensing, listening, a tasting, a touching, a feeling, as well as a seeing and hearing. And then let's take the other side. I'm just gonna check my time. Check the other side, uh, the other foot forward, and just swaying now, moving as if rolling this golden ball in the lower pelvis forward and back, and allowing it to shift your weight from the back foot to the front foot. And then when you're ready, letting the arm associated with the back leg join in, following it with your gaze. Maybe just getting heavy, playful. You can make up some of your own pieces about this. This is one of our sun and moon t-shirt designs. We'll be having a new one, I'm pretty sure, with our celebration of our 30th year of being in existence, 30th birthday anniversary. Stay tuned for details of events we'll be having this fall. All right, maybe you go higher. Maybe you're gazing towards your hand. Maybe you gaze away from your hand. I always like to do that. Pattern interruption. Our pattern is eyes go with motion, which is evolutionarily favored. But it's also useful to be able to know we can look behind us, to the side of us. Since you're breathing, are you having fun? Mm. All right. Probably did a little less time on that side, which is okay. Come back to stillness. Something's different. In my body, it is. Is it in yours? I would think it is. My hands feel different. There's a little bit of a buzz going through my body. Breath, something on the core of me feels a little different, slightly heated up. Feet, anything different in the feet or in the two sides? My weight is a little bit forward, as if I'm hmm, something interesting there in my ankles. And I'm just making little micro movements now as I join in the observation with a little, whatever works to get myself a little more grounded. Maybe, maybe or maybe not. There's something about my experience, it's the mind is a little quieter. That may or may not be true for you. And we'll segue from here right into the meditation portion, which is stillness plus silence. You'll hear my voice giving some guidance. And you may stay right here in the standing position. If you choose to move, or you're seated or you're laying down, and whatever position you're in, if you choose to move, let the transition be kind of slow and minimal fuss. I'm going to shift to seated, and I'll need to change my camera direction. So minimal fuss, minimal disturbance. Support as you need it. For those of us who like to teach, you've heard that saying, as I mentioned earlier, we often teach what we need to learn. And one of my biggest edges is slowing down, which I'm so fond of sharing, but it's a real challenge for me in day-to-day life, slowing down. And yesterday I took a class with a fellow Christ teacher online, or 2 days ago, Cynthia Allen. And it's much easier for me to be led through a practice. Maybe that's true for you too. Although I really enjoy leading myself, and I'm sort of stubbornly, I wanna do it myself kind of person. So I, often fall into that, but, it was sweet and powerful and sort of a reminder of what's possible. That's what's of how much slowing down, stopping is possible. And we might resist it for a number of reasons. We might resist it because it's a little scary, what we may find there in the quiet and stillness. We might resist it, just habit, just the habit of moving fast, which is wired into us in a I'm sure you hear that term a lot in all our available, neuromuscular, neurological, um, information and science that's available these days. But the wiring is yeah, I'm wondering if there's even a stronger metaphor or an additional part to that metaphor that it is hardwired, it is in there, and until that wiring is shifted, it's the default. So, as I've been talking, I hope you've set up your place for stillness, and we'll actually just have a 7-minute today, a 7-minute meditation. Enjoy your journey. That bell sound may not have conveyed very well through the technology, but perhaps you heard a little something, the, sig- the signal of the beginning of our this portion of our practice, this particular practice. And I haven't given too many cues about setting up your posture, which I both like to be relaxed about and super vigilant about. You can use some of the cues from the earlier grounding to apply to the meditation position, even if you're lying down. And you have a whole array of your own tomes of knowledge of setting up your meditation, I'm sure. I would just reiterate to truly what I take to heart what I said at the beginning. Enjoy the journey, this journey that can go so many places in our mind. And it's really just coming right back to ourself. And stay relaxed in the eyes and the jaw. And perhaps it's useful to have some tool to remember to come back or step away from thought, like stepping off the train of thought could be the tool. It could be having an image, and it came to me this idea to share this of yesterday's supermoon in the sky that we saw as we walked the dog. This beautiful, big yellow moon. Perhaps it's a light attention to the question that came to you early in the beginning of our practice, the need, and the way you phrased the inquiry into that inquiry, that it's just like ask the question and then sit back, take the step back, the retreat, the backward step. Allow yourself to hear and see and feel the answers that come. How is it to slow down, to move towards stillness? About 5 or 6 breaths together remaining in our practice. Before we completely come out of the meditation, we'll just add a little practice of coming back to that inquiry, which is sort of a different practice, but maybe it's the one that you chose. Maybe something new needs your attention now, or some new insight came, or some new question. And just hold that, regard that, not necessarily to hurry to an answer, but to live the question, to allow the whole all of you to participate in answering that question. And it might be that it will bubble up sometime in the next day or week, the next, answer, the next obvious step. Maybe as you're involved in doing something else, you get an aha. Thank you so much for joining me. Wish you well this coming week and as you deal with the joys and challenges in your life. Mm, Love to hear about your questions. Please go ahead and leave a comment or sometime in these if anything that comes to mind, or you can contact me through alex at sunandmoonstudio.com. And also check our website, sunandmoonstudio.com, for ways to join us again and again. Thank you. Oh, on that note, I think they're in Fairfax. It might be on the next Sunday, the August 25th, 2024. I think at our Fairfax studio, there will be a music, I think, I'm not remembering. I think it's a cello, maybe music with a yoga practice, something like that, something delicious. So I may see you there. Ciao, ciao.